This episode of the Operatory podcast is brought to you by Opera DDS, the easy solution for communication in your dental practice, between dental practices, and with your specialists. Paperless forms, secure email, full recall, and intra-office communication with chat and teledentistry, all available at operadds.com. Welcome to the Operatory podcast, the podcast about burying the dinosaurs in dentistry, moving past outdated technology and procedures to find a better way. With me today, as always, is the patient perspective man, the man providing the patient perspective. David Pryor, how are you doing, sir?
What are you doing over there?
You threw me off with your dancing again.
I don't. Yet you know it's coming every time.
I know.
And yet you still fall for it.
I know. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's a different dance every time, though.
Yeah, that's true.
You keep it fresh. Like Fortnite dances that my son does.
I don't do those.
Yeah. I do, much to my wife's dismay.
All of our dismay.
It's fun. I'm a dentist. I got to floss, right?
God. Let's start over.
Oh, man. So
let's cancel this podcast.
Well, actually, we can't because I want to talk about something
that
I went to a meeting the other day, and it was a great presenter, author of the book, The Three Hag Way, which is a great book about strategy and cash management in your business. If you've read Traction, and I've mentioned it on the podcast before, and you're an EOS company or you have like you run your business but you want to look at sort of strategy and cash management, it's a great book, The Three Hag Way. It's by an author named Sharon Susko. And I went to this course. Okay, and I met her, and she's nice, and we were talking, and then in the middle of the course, she said something. She goes, I can't remember what she was talking about, but she said, it's not that funny. I can't remember the specific details she was talking about, but she said, it's like going to the dentist. And then she went, oh, sorry, there's a dentist in the room, right? And I was like, damn. I mean, so first of all, she felt foolish for saying that, right? Mm-hmm. Which is an issue because like patients don't realize that they don't realize that dentists realize that people don't like going to see them, right?
Right.
And two, the fact that we all say that all the time. We hear it all the time. It's like pulling teeth.
Right.
It's like going to the dentist.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd rather have a root canal.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd rather give birth.
Yeah. Yeah, that we've talked about that one on the podcast before, that people would rather give birth than having an occlusal filling. Oh, man. No, you would not. No, you would not. Anyway, but the fact that this is part of our vernacular in the country, just that's the way it is, I think is just despicable. And we need to change that as an industry.
Sure, yeah.
Do you agree?
Well, I think that's a lot of what you and I on this podcast work towards, is to try to get people to up their game.
Yeah, and that's where I was going, is we want to upgrade our practices, right?
Yep.
To the point that patient experience is not, I don't want to go to another course, a business course, where they say that it's like going to the dentist in a negative way. I mean, nobody says it's like going to the barber, and it's like, oh, that's a horrible, I can identify with that being horrible.
Right.
Right? And secondly, if people say that, they shouldn't be saying they're sorry because there's no implication like, well, that was rude to say. It's more like, I didn't want to call out the fact that you guys are so bad at your job,
right,
that this is the way that the world works.
You provide such a horrible experience that it is assumed.
Yes.
Right.
So I sat there in this class and I was ashamed for our profession. That's what happened. Yeah. That's really what I'm getting to, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And so I mean, we talk about a lot on this podcast, but I could not sit there and not go, we need to do a podcast about this specific moment in time when I went to this meeting and she said that, and I felt ashamed for our profession. So please, today, when you go back to your practice, go, what am I doing in my practice that I can change so that Brian Laskin knows any dentist doesn't have to be in a meeting that has nothing to do with dentistry and hear it's like going to the dentist in a negative way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
And when we talk about it, go listen to the podcast. Virtual reality, come on. That would crush it in and of itself.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Everything from digital x-rays and CT scan and CAD cam and seeing patients the same day for treatment. These are all things that are going to squash that. If you don't know how to give a painless injection, we've done podcasts on that. Go seek out the people that can do it. But think in your practice and go, if I was a patient and I'd never been to a dentist practice before, I knew nothing about dentistry, and I walked in my practice, it sounds kind of foolish, but like, how could I create an environment so that people don't leave here going, oh, it's like going to the dentist in a negative way?
Right.
I mean, that's should be pretty simple, I would think. And there's lots of ways to do it, from your hours to running on time, to all of the things that and here's the real take home, right? As I'm yammering to myself, I came up with this. Dentists judge themselves based on their yesterday. Like, oh, when I came to my office yesterday, I used this adhesive. This adhesive is better. I'm improving things. No.
Right.
No. What you really have to judge, we have to judge as dentists, is our practices with the rest of the world, right? If I go to get my car fixed in an auto body shop, it should be a worse experience than going to the dentist, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
I just had a car accident, right? But
That
today,
should be what they're saying instead of I'd rather go to the auto body shop than saying I'd rather go to the dentist.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
When I'm sitting in there listening to a business course, they should say it's like getting in a car accident.
Right.
Right? But they don't say that. They say it's like going to the dentist. Come on, right?
Well, it's on your industry to repaint the image. Everybody has to start looking at themselves and say, what am I doing to change perception? Like if you know somebody that's going to get a spa treatment, whatever that spa treatment is, odds are it's painful.
Oh yeah.
And so, but if somebody says I'm going to the spa, it doesn't conjure up images of pain. It conjures up images of relaxation and happiness. So, why you can do the same thing in dentistry just as easily.
Yeah, people don't say, boy, it's like going to the oncologist, right? Because they actually want to get the outcome.
Right.
And we in dentistry kind of straddle both, right?
Yep.
We've got the outcome piece that, my tooth isn't going to, it's broken, it's not broken.
Yep.
Or cosmetics, like on the spa end, like you said, getting your teeth cleaned should be a positive experience. And it is for a lot of people. Yeah. But as a whole, our industry doesn't do that. And they don't say like it's like paying my taxes, right? Because I don't know about you, but that was a check that was painful for me to write.
Yes.
That, and there's no getting around that pain. It's not like the government's going to be looking at the industry going, oh boy, how can we make paying taxes easier for people? No, not at all. It's going to always be painful. We as an industry don't have that problem because we can't force people to come to see us, but we really should, just as a group, but individually in your practice. And that the irony is that's why 10% of adults in the U.S., according to a 2016 Gallup poll survey, says that they will avoid going to the dentist at all costs. Right. Mm-hmm. So 1 in 10 people walking around will avoid going to us at all costs. Mm-hmm. 80% have some type of anxiety about what we do. Right. That's today is kind of on us as an industry because of our focus. And I get it. I mean, I'm busy, everybody's busy, and it's hard to step back and take a look at your practice and go, oh, you know what? How can I actually change things so that, if when I go to get my haircut next time and and I fill out my form on my phone before I come in, and I can do an online check-in and how can I bring that to my practice,
All right, I'm going to do something to you that you do to me all the time. Put you on the spot.
Okay.
All right.
Please do, man.
So what's one really simple thing, outside of the stuff we always talk about on the podcast? We always talk about VR and all the different applications that we do in Opera DDS. But when you start thinking about how can we make the patient experience better and start making it more like a spa experience rather than something that people are dreading and creating anxiety that doesn't necessarily need to be there?
The first thing that runs through my brain is run on time.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, if I go to get my hair cut and it takes 10 minutes, I'm sitting there in the reception area, not the waiting room, right? And it's taking an extra 10 minutes. I'm looking at the clock going, what's wrong with these people?
Yeah.
Right. It's an expectation in dentistry, and there's no reason for it. It's not like, there are things that come up in dentistry, right? But there's also ways to manage that. I see a dentist on the phone for 20 minutes talking to somebody that has nothing to do with dentistry while the patient sits there and waits, right?
Yeah.
Say run on time. We have all sorts of systems to do it. Convenient hours.
Well, let me stop you there. So to back you up on what you just said, to run on time, I think really rings true, because if you think about a patient that's already coming in anxious, and then you're running late, all that they're doing is stoking that fire of anxiety. And so by running on time and looking professional and keeping your game together, and I think you're right. I think that's a great bit of advice, something simple that everybody should focus on.
I went in to have a medical procedure done, and the physician came in after half an hour being late, sweaty as hell, saying how difficult it was on the last patient and apologized. Okay, first of all, at least he came in and apologized, right?
Yep.
But what do you think I'm thinking? Oh, great, I'm next, right?
With the stressed out doctor, you're next? Oh,
in fact, I said that to him, frankly, and I was like, oh, great. Now are you going to be freaking out on me? So should I reschedule? He's like, oh, no, I'm good. Yours is easy. Oh, great, man, thanks. But I mean,
I don't even have to pay attention to yours. I can do yours in my sleep. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, I'd be barely paying attention because I'm recovering from the last guy, right? Yeah. And that's the kind of thing that people think, right? And so that's a big one, so that's the first thing that comes to mind. And I can just hear people on the other end saying we're busy, but it really just comes down to managing your time. It's no different. You said it to me the other day, busy's the new stupid, right?
Yeah.
And so managing your time is incredibly important. Yeah. And I firmly believe that the most productive dentists run on time.
Yeah.
They don't, like the people who produce the highest quality of care, they're not going in going, oh my gosh, this might take half an hour longer than I thought it would. It can happen, but it's extremely rare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So let's do it together. Let me know, what can you do in your practice that you think will actually help get rid of this fact that when we all go to a meeting that has nothing to do with dentistry and they say it's like going to the dentist or it's like pulling teeth, like those things should be removed from the United States vernacular completely. Thank you very much, Dave.
You bet, Brian. Have a great one.
You too. I also want to remind you to rate and review us wherever you're listening to this podcast. And if you have suggestions or comments, please visit theoperatory.com and drop us a line. Again, I'm Dr. Brian Laskin, host of The Operatory. Thanks for listening. I look forward to speaking with you next week.